All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Happy Life with Maria podcast. Today, we have an amazing guest who is like one of my favorite humans on the planet. He is the owner, director, creator of the Salsa Sabrosa Dance School in New York City, Mr. Renzo or Teo.
Both. Hi, everyone.
Hi, thank you so much for joining. I'm super excited to have you here. Thanks for your time. I know you have a busy schedule, but I wanted to actually start off by sharing a quick story of how I discovered your school.
Okay.
It was like a year and 3 months ago. It was like August 2021.
More than a year.
Um, it was like August 2021. It was like more than a year. So my cousin and I were walking around on the beach in Brooklyn because we usually just walk around there for fun. And we saw you guys have your outdoor salsa class right on the beach. I think that was like the one and only time you were in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that is incredible. Yeah, because I didn't do much in Brooklyn. So yeah,
Yeah,
this is the
and
deal.
you were all in the water and dancing, and I just saw you guys, and I was like, oh my god, they're having so much fun. I was like, what are they doing, and how do I get to be part of that? So then we're walking, and my cousin's like, let's go say hi, and I didn't want to say hi. I was like, I don't know because maybe they're like doing something specific. I don't want to bother them. And my cousin basically forced me to come up to you guys and say hi. And, and when I said hi, you were like super friendly. You were super easygoing. You were like, "Hi, this is my dance school. I'm Teo, and I do my classes here in New York. You gave me your card. I was like, all right. So then I think like a week later, I came to your Pier 45 social. You had the Pier 45 social. And oh my God, that was like next level fun. I had no idea you could have so much fun dancing, let me tell you, because I didn't like see that before. When you did like this group dance thing that you do, I know what it's
Oh, when I go to
called.
the front, we call it suelta so it shines. It's just going to the front. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was doing it. It was such a joyful, like fun environment. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to be part of this all the time. So that's basically how I discovered your school, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was a bigger event because in Brooklyn I did it just a few times. It didn't work out pretty well with just a few people. So yeah, I'm pretty sure in Pier 45 was way, way, way better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay, so why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your school, what you do, and how did it all begin?
So about the school, general things like the name of the school, as you mentioned before, is Salsa Sabrosa. I started almost 2 years. In at the end of January, it's gonna be 2 years. So yeah, 3 more months, and we are already in the second anniversary of the school. We do salsa, bachata. You can check salsasabrosa.school.com. I'm not gonna get into the details of when and everything. And then how did it
Yeah, what
started?
made you
Like,
kind of want to start a school? Because that's like a big step to take to open a whole dance school in New York City, and you have, how did that happen?
I cannot start to say what made me open the school without actually starting to say what made me study to dance, right? Like
Okay, okay.
I started to dance 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 and a half already. 15 years ago, I started to dance, just being forced by one of my friends that he wanted to see a girl that was in the class, and he didn't want to go by himself. So he was like, join me, join me, join me. So he kind of forced me to go. I didn't want it to dance salsa. It wasn't my plan ever at all. Um, but I did go and just to watch. Then while I was watching, my friend forced me to do the class as well. So I did it, and I just fell in love. I just fell in love with the dance, with the class. Everyone was super fun. Same experience as you had.
Wow. So you didn't want to dance in the beginning? You had no
No, I
interest in
didn't. No, no, I
dancing?
didn't want. No, and I was the kid. I was 17 years old, right? So I was going to the clubs and whatever, and just in the corner, like having the drink, not dancing much. Uh, but a few years ago, I realized that actually I was dancing before, being forced by my mom that she loved to dance, cumbia and cuarteto, which is kind of like Argentinian merengue. Um, so she made me dance, kind of like I was forced as well in that
Right, right. But
area.
you didn't
It
really
never,
want to.
yeah, I didn't want to, but she was like in all the parties taking me to dance and everything. So I guess I developed unconsciously in that moment a little bit of rhythm that helped me up when I started to learn, but just a little bit, not that much. I was pretty bad. I see videos of myself like 15 years ago, and I'm like that's just horrible. That everything is wrong. I saw some performance. Yeah, and it was so bad. It was so bad.
But you really loved the class, right? When you were introduced to it at 16, you said you really
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
17, 17. Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was really, really, really fun. And then once that I started the first class, the next week I was going 3 classes per week and going to dance, like to social dancing, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until 4, 5 a.m. I just like went
Wow.
crazy. Like I just had what we call salsa fever. It was just like, yeah,
Yeah, I believe it. It is addictive. Once you get used to it, like once you get introduced to it, oh my God, it's such a,
yeah. There
it's
is
a
a
next
period.
level.
Yeah, there is a period between 3 months to a lifetime that you go crazy for it. So I did go crazy for it. Then after 2, 3 years, it went down. Then I came back. It went down again. So up and down every other 2, 3 years, kind of like that. But it was always for fun, like you, just something that you do to enjoy, right? The time and to meet people and everything, right? But then I came here 4 years ago, doing different stuff.
Oh,
Um,
hold on. We should mention you're from Argentina, right?
yeah, I am from Argentina. Yeah,
And
sorry, I'm from
uh-huh.
Argentina. I came 4 years ago from Argentina to New Jersey. I was doing bartending and other stuff. Then I came 3 years ago to Manhattan.
Wait, you were
Uh,
doing bartending when you got here? I didn't know
yeah,
that. Oh
yeah,
my
yeah. I did. Yeah, I did bartending, then food delivery, and then again bartending. But of course, that wasn't the plan, right? It's not what I wanted to do, but I didn't know what to do and what I could do here. But a lot of people, as always, were asking me to teach them, right? Because in some point I got really good at it, right? And a lot of people was like, "Oh, please teach me, teach me." But I never actually wanted to, because for me it was fun, so I didn't want it to make it a responsibility, right? But then something like 3 years ago, when I came to Manhattan, I started to think seriously. And it wasn't like from one day to the other one that I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this professionally and I'm gonna open my school and I'm gonna do everything. No, it took me kind of like, I would say, since the first thought that I had that, oh, maybe I can do something with this, it started like 3 years before to open the school. So it was a long mental process of, okay, maybe this is something that I can do, to, oh, maybe this is possible, to, okay, I think that I can make it possible. I think that this is something that can uh, happen, and I can make it happen. Uh,
Yeah, I understand
the
because in
point
the
of it,
beginning it's very difficult because you don't know, should you go for it, should you not? It's such a
yeah,
big decision.
yeah, but I hear a lot of people that they are like, oh, I want to do this, but I don't know, and then also they punish themselves, being like, oh no, but I have been doing saying the same like for the last 2 years, and I don't do anything, and it kind of like they punish themselves. I never took it in that way. It was for me a process that took 3 years of being like, I maybe do it, and started to think more seriously, 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 until I had the courage enough to open it and be like, okay, I want to do it, because in my case, it was a hobby, something that I love. So make it a responsibility. It just changed entirely the scenario, right? Because then you have to do it. It's not, oh, you can dance whenever you want, right? If I have a social dance and I am tired, I cannot just go to the corner and be like, oh, I don't dance with anyone, right? At least, especially in the beginning of the school, when it was basically everything just me, right? There wasn't like many good dancers, and there was just like 5 people. So if I had 5, 10, 15 people in my first socials and my first event, I had to dance with everyone. So being conscious of this before starting the school, it was a big step. So I couldn't take it easily. And then trying to figure out how, because as an dancer you can be a performance, you can do workshops, you can travel around the world, You can compete, you can open a school. And I decided to open a school because I also always wanted time to myself, or my family, or whatever. So I didn't want it to do something that will force me to be there for sure. Uh, like for example, today, right? I am in Miami, and the school will have bachata classes, so I can be here in Miami, which is super cool, and also still the school still works, right? So I decided to open the school, but as I said, like it was a long journey for me. It was a long process of 3 years from like maybe to
Maybe.
okay, this is what I wanted to do, and whatever happened, I'm just gonna try it. And yeah, and it started to come like, okay, if I can choose like maybe like this amount of money, this day I am done by the day, and at least one day I made it dancing salsa, like, and that was my mentality. Just go with the small stuff, achieve small things, and be like, okay, like I made $100. I can today I can say I ate thanks to dancing, right? And things like that until now that I of course live just out of the school. Which is
Wow, that's so
yeah.
amazing. I love hearing that because it sounds like which is what a lot of people go through at the beginning. It takes like a time, could be 2, 3 years to decide where you want to do it or not. And then what made you finally actually take that step to open it? Was it just because you were doing the classes and you saw people were interested, or was it just
So being honest, I have to say that there is two big factors. One was a lot of people asking me to do it. Three factors. The second was that I saw the schools here that they were really big, and I saw that it was economically possible, right? So I saw that there was an opportunity. It was possible, like the numbers fit, right? I don't know. I'm not sure how to say it in English. Um, because I saw other school in Argentina. It's really difficult to live out of everything, but out of dancing even more. So yeah, it was possible. And the third one, I have a partner back then that she also kind of like pushed me in a really good way
uh,
to do it. She was really important because even before of starting my that is being like, okay, I'm gonna open it. She was telling everyone that I was about to open the school. She was like, yeah, he's gonna have his own school, and he's gonna have the classes, like you can reach out to him. And I was like, yeah. So even before having my first class, she was speaking uh, to people like if I already had
wow. So it sounds
my
like that partner believed in you before you even believed in yourself. She saw that in you.
yeah, I cannot deny that part, and I can yeah, I have to say that yeah, she believed a lot in me,
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
that was
Sometimes
that was
that support is important. That support really kind of pushes you.
yeah, and it doesn't need to be a partner, but I will say definitely either family, friends, or someone also has to believe in you more than just you, right? Someone has to say, at least that was my experience, right? Some people made it without anyone, but I had to say that that was a really important ingredient in my decision because I was like, yeah, I have to do it, right? I was like, I had to. If she already see me like that, and then in some point I always go like, what are you gonna lose? Like time, we waste a lot of time all the time. Money, it goes back and forward all the time. So there is
Yeah.
not much to lose. You get disappointed, you get sad, like you get frustrated, like everything. But that's part of the life. You are gonna get disappointed and sad and everything, even though if you don't try what you want to try, right? So
Oh my God, I love that. You're gonna get disappointed in everything, if even if you try or not. So why not try? That's so
yeah,
brilliant.
I mean, yeah, life is not like all beautiful colors. So even if you are in a job that is stable, there will be moment that you will come back home and kind of like hated it, like being sad for because you fought with a coworker because your boss is an asshole or whatever, right? Like it's just like there will be moments that are gonna be really frustrated. So that's gonna happen either you try what you want or not. That's unavoidable. I think
So
so.
might as well go for what you do want to do and
Exactly.
give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot. And at least, if it succeeds, at least then of course sometimes I get frustrated, right? Because I still have different barriers and everything. But then there is a lot of time that I am in a bad mood, right? Not a lot of time, luckily I rarely get in a bad mood. But there is sometimes that I get in a bad mood for any reason. And then I have my Monday classes, which are the biggest on the school. and it changed my mood, right? I go to work and I get
Oh,
out of the class super happy, which is amazing. It's
oh.
something that I can say with certainty.
Certainty, yes,
Certainty.
certainty.
Thank you so much. That quite a few people can say that. Okay? Quite a few people can say like, "Oh, something happened in my life, but luckily I'm gonna go work, and then it's gonna be
And
better."
they're gonna feel better.
Yeah. So, and I can say that when I go to work, I come back
Oh.
from work like way happier than what I came.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, I have to say, as someone who does go to your Monday class, you make us feel happy. So it's both ways. When we come to your class, we feel like whatever was happening in our week, the stress or whatever was going on, as soon as we step into the Monday class, it's like this whole other world where you're just happy because you're just focused on dance, you're laughing, you're funny, you make us laugh like all the time.
Happy
At
to
least
hear.
for me, I love the sense of humor, the fun part of it. It's not just, step left, step right. It's like a whole experience. It's like you're walking into like joy for a few hours. That's what it feels like.
That's the idea. It's the same for me. It is the same for me. I just feel it like that. I go and I just enjoy and I have fun. And I always say like it is also thanks to each of you that goes, right? Because just be me by myself, it's not that fun. So you all make it fun as well. Like you are all part of it.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, so one small thing people don't know is when you got here, you didn't speak any English. Is that right?
Oh yeah, yeah, I
How
did.
did you learn English? Because look at you, you're speaking English only a few years.
Yeah, but not perfectly as you noticed.
No,
Uh,
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
yeah, no, but still working on it. But yeah, I didn't speak any English at all. I don't know why. I mean, I guess just watching movies and all the stuff, right? But I could barely understand kind of like the context of what people was saying, basic words, basic phrases. I was able to catch some stuff, but yeah, to say like not at all. I don't know why, but I always mention this, and I remember clearly after like 3 4 months that I was here, I was able to say one phrase, like put a couple words together, and said it in English, and I was like so happy. I was like, wow, I just say my first phrase in English, it was so cool. Um, yeah, of course I thought it in Spanish, right? Like, oh, puedo decir algo en inglés. Buenísimo.
So you
So
just kind of picked it up over the year of
yeah, but I ask a lot that I think a lot of people, I don't know why they don't do it. I mean, I get why. Maybe because they are shy or because they don't want to make mistake. But I always ask the people to correct me. I was like, if you hear that I am saying something wrong, just tell me. Or like, if I ask you something, try to explain that to me in English, so I can catch up. Like it's the same way that we learn when we are babies. Like when we are babies, we don't know what is something. So if I point it out to an object, then I just say the name. That is what it is. I don't have to explain you, well, like this is table in English, in Spanish is mesa, so you have to make the reference of what is mesa in Spanish and then translate it to English. I was just kind of like trying to learn as a baby learn, just like tell me, speak to me and point it out the stuff and tell me what the things are and try to explain me everything in English and correct me all the time if I
that's
say
really
something.
smart. That's a smart way to do it because you keep hearing other people say it and you can repeat after what they're telling you.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like how do you say this? Un loro, the
Oh,
green, the green bird. What is the name? What is the name? The green bird
the green bird. I don't
that
know.
the pirates have. The pirates has
Oh,
a
oh,
rocket
oh
that
yeah, the parrots, the
parrot,
parrots. It
parrot.
repeats. Yeah.
It just a bit. Basically, that's the way that I learn. I just like listening and repeating it. And I
I
still
just
have a
think
lot of
I
mistakes.
just think it's so impressive for somebody who doesn't even speak the language to come to a new country and then decide to just open a dance school. I feel like it just so many kind of steps happened for that to
Let
happen.
me
I feel like that was such an interesting
let me show
progression.
let me show off a little bit, and I'm gonna tell you something that my mom always reminds me, and I always forget, but I am pretty sure that you will like. My idea of coming here was just not staying that long, and also it was just buy some clothes and something like that, right? So I just came with a little bit of money and just my clothes. Like when I came here to United States, it wasn't planned, and also I just came with my clothes and almost nothing of money, and for what money means here, right? It was just barely nothing, just like to survive 2 weeks a month, something like that. And that's all that I came with 4 years ago.
So you didn't plan to stay here?
No, I did no plan.
Well, we're so thankful you did because this is such a fun school.
Yeah.
Thank
So
God you did. Oh my God. Okay, so I have some questions I want to ask you. Are we
go
ready? Are
for
we
it.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that it has begun and you kind of started to build it, and then I guess it kind of grew naturally, but I feel like your growth was a little bit on the fast track. Like you grew pretty quickly, would you
Yeah.
say?
Definitely, definitely it was quick. I started the school with at the first class I had 12 people, something like that. The second class I have eight, the third class I have four, and the fourth class I have three. And I still remember one student that is still my friend, you know him, Gary, saying each week less and less, huh? So after a month I had just one class that hurt me so bad. That's why I remember it because I was like, I'm doing my best. After a month I have 40 students, and then 4 months later. I have classes with 30, 40 people, and I have like two, three classes on Mondays, and I think three socials Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday in the parks, and people were coming in some 40, in other 30. Like, yeah, the school was kind of like, and it's being said, right? I really love self-developed books and how do you say self-help stuff. I really love it. Everything related to that, I
Me
really
too.
love it. Audios and seminars and everything, I just love it. And it is pretty sad, right? That the line of success is pretty flat, 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 and then just like jump. I will say in the beginning of the school, it was literally like that. It was just like super, super flat, super flat, super flat. And I started January 25, and in June, it just grow like I don't know, like everything, so 20 times,
It
like
just kind of
everything. Yeah,
exploded all at the
it
same
just
time.
exploded. It just exploded. I created some bases, so I had the space. I didn't have just one class. I had already three, four classes, but everything was yeah, not working much. I was just breaking down when speaking about money and all breaking even. I was breaking even in all the classes, like making no money and nothing with the 4 or 5 classes that I have back then. And then in June, yeah, it just exploded. Like a lot of people out of nowhere started to come to everything. And I was like, wow, that's cool.
Well, I think that a lot of it had to do with the fact that you actually host a lot of free socials. And I feel like when you do those
That's
socials, people
yeah.
get to know you, get to see what you are
Yeah,
like.
there was like, of course, I am aware of many factors that created that explosion, right? One, of course, the work that I did the last 5 months, promoting and everything, having the socials helped a lot. I created back then, I think, end of May, a website, so now there was people that could find me through Google Maps and everything. So yeah, there was many factors that created that explosion, right? Uh, but still, I didn't measure that it would be so good. And since June of last year, I am just living and just doing the school basically.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think when did I saw you in August 2021 is when I came to the socials and then I saw the social and I feel like since last year to this year, it kind of just exploded even more because now you've had like more than just your classes. Now other corporations and companies are noticing you and are kind of inviting you. Tell us what the last few months have been like. I saw you were on Good Morning
I'm going
America,
like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
which was
That
so
was cool.
amazing.
That
Tell
was
us.
cool. And I have been hired for many companies, which is cool and awesome, right? Companies like Sony, all the stuff, right? Like big companies. But I liked it more in America because uh, the girl explicitly told me when she called me that they were interviewing other schools. And she made kind of like an interview. She asked me like where I was from, why did I start at the school, kind of like the same thing that we are doing here, but in 5 minutes. So she kind of like evaluate different schools, and they choose me. So that's really cool. I really
Wow.
like it.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that part.
You know, of course, not everyone knows. I told, I think some people in the team or something like that that I mentioned. But yeah, I like that.
What
That
did you say why you wanted to start the school? What did you say?
why did I want to start it? Well, the same thing because I saw it that it was possible, and also because I love this. Oh, that's something that I forgot to say that is quite important. I realized that I could dance salsa every fucking single day of my life. And I was like, I can just do it all the time, and I just love it, and I don't get tired. And I can keep going, and I can keep going, and sometimes my body is super tired of dancing, and I hear a good song, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing, and I just start to dance again, right? So that's really important as well. That's something that I didn't mention, and it was really important that I got to the point to say like, I never gonna quit of doing this. Like that's no matter what. That yeah, that's a huge important thing that I didn't mention when you asked me why did I open the school. It's
Uh-huh.
also because I got to a point to say I am never gonna quit doing that. No matter what happened, I love this, and I have been doing it back then for 11 years, something like that. And yeah, it's never gonna leave out of my life. So I was like, okay, let's make something with it. Let's try to make it something.
That makes sense because I do notice, like I guess all of us do notice, because you do dance pretty much every day. You have something every day for hours, and it is something that you have to either have the ability to do or not. And
Yeah,
you have that ability, like for you, first of all, you enjoy it. I feel like you really enjoy
yeah,
it.
yeah. As I just mentioned, I just like it, right? The music is that, and I'm just like, uh, yeah, I just want to dance and keep dancing and keep dancing and keep dancing. Uh,
Wow, so that's why they chose you. I love that story. So that's how you ended up on Good Morning America. Guess we all watched you guys on Good Morning America. We were so happy for you. We're like, oh my gosh, they made it. It was the most
yeah.
fun thing. You guys put on a really fun performance. I love the whole experience as well as just an observer. So you guys must have had so much fun back then.
Yeah,
You
it was an
came
amazing
early, right?
experience, right? Yeah, of course. Not just came early. Like they pick us up, in cars. They take us to a hotel, with our own room, that we waited there. So it's kind of like everything like a movie thing, right? Like super fancy.
What did it feel like for you to go from, you just got here doing, bartending to being invited to Good Morning America? What did it feel like when you were there? How did you feel?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, it's just it's just fun for me. Maybe it is a pretty childish attitude that I usually have, but
It
I
was
don't
just
know.
super fun. You
It
enjoyed
was
it.
just it was just super fun. It's just a fun experience to do. I know that the show is big, and I know that it has a name, and that impacts me in the way like, oh, that was cool. And as I said, like they choose me out of other people, but it's not neither that I go crazy like, oh, look at me. So I don't know. It was just fun. As I say, it was for me
It was
the way
very
that I
fun.
lived it, it was funny, or I felt like in a movie in the way that they came, they pick us up, they put us in a hotel, we had to wait in the room, everything fancy. Then they call a security guard to take us to the studio, and put it back there, and the director being like, okay, when we press the button, you come out and everything. It's just being in the backstage of something that big, it was kind of like, yeah, it felt being in a movie. So it was just a really
Wow.
fun experience.
Wow, that sounds really fun. Yeah, I think I understand what you mean. When you go into something like that, you just have so much joy. You just have so much fun because it's like a different experience that you haven't experienced before, and they
Yeah,
want you. And so that's like also fun. You're like, you want me, right?
yeah,
And then you
yeah. I
get
mean, they
there.
just they choose the school or school between the other. So that made me really proud. I also have to thank the dancers that they joined me in that crazy stuff that we had to rehearsal, and cool thing that we thought that we were doing it kind of like for free, just to be there, but they ended up paying us really good amount of money, and I was like, wow, that's so crazy, that's so cool.
Oh,
So yeah, yeah, even we got paid for going there.
that's
Which even
amazing.
even yeah, even better. We thought all the time that we were just kind of like to promote and all this stuff, but no, they were like for real, and I was like, wow, that's super cool. Um,
That's amazing. Do you know how they discovered you? They just looked you up online and they just
well,
reached out to you?
I don't know, but I am pretty sure that they just found me on Google. Like I do a lot of advertising, and I paid promotions, and I work a lot in the website to make sure that it goes up. I think all the stuff. help right
Yeah.
to companies. Like last, you asked me like how were last 2 3 months. So there was the Heritage Month that we have like a crazy amount of private events. Like I couldn't do it by myself, so I had to ask the other teachers of the school also to go, and I sent them there. So yeah, everyone worked pretty much a lot last 2 3 months thanks to a lot of corporative events that we are having. So yes, now it is not just people, and like in the way it's just like one student going to the class. Yeah, now a lot of corporations reach out to us, so that's super cool as well.
Yeah, I love that because for me, as someone who just goes to class, to have other people have the opportunity to experience what we're experiencing, I'm like so happy for you and for them because I feel like everybody should experience what we're experiencing in classes. It's just such a fun. I don't even have the words to describe the level of fun. It's amazing. So I'm happy that it's kind of expanding and more people are getting to experience that joy because I feel like what you are doing is different from what others are doing. Because I think it was in my many years ago, I think I tried to take like a salsa class, and it's nothing like what you are creating. It's nothing like that. It's
Yeah,
literally, I don't even want to get into it, but it's nothing like that. And so it's such a different experience. And for
yeah,
me, it's like, I think because you really enjoy it so much and because you kind of, in kind of inject so much laughter and joy to it, you make us kind of be interested in because I wasn't really interested in becoming a salsa dancer or anything like that. I just dance for fun. You know, I love movement, I love music, I love dance. I'm like a freestyle dancer. And I know like the basics of salsa and things like that, but I would have never in a million years thought that I would be taking consistently salsa
that's the
classes and
class is gonna just
learning.
keep doing it
No
all the way.
way.
Yeah,
Because of you kind of getting us interested in it because it's kind of such a fun experience and the way you present the information and the way you kind of like explain and it's like yeah I never would have considered it unless it was like yeah you're
yeah.
kind of a
Luckily,
you're
I hear that pretty often. Like that the community and the classes feels different. Yeah, luckily.
yeah, so I'm like super happy that more people get to experience that, and I hope that it like continues to grow and expand and all that. But I also want to talk about some other things you do besides dance. I feel like you also create a community because
Oh yeah.
there is like outside of school, you take time to do like hiking events and things like that. Tell us about other things that you are creating and why is it important for you to start creating a community?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna start from the end. I think, as I mentioned, I came 4 years ago just with my clothes, but also I came by myself, right? So I am by myself still, right? Like up now I have friends and everything, but it's not the same as being in your country with your culture, with your family, with your friends of all your life. Um, everyone here is pretty much traveling, so if you have some acquaintance or friends, you have it just temporarily, and then you're just by yourself again. So it is really, really difficult, I think, especially in New York City, kind of like to find, um, how
Like a
can you say it?
consistent group of people that you can have in your life, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, exactly that. But what it means for us as human beings, that which is,
Connection,
yeah, a deep connection, a root, kind of like a feeling of fulfillment.
fulfillment. Yes.
Thank you, that word.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is really difficult, right? Because then you can achieve a lot of stuff. At least this is my philosophy. But if you don't have anyone to share it with, it makes no sense at all. So when you have people just passing by, like not creating bonds and connections at all, like it's kind of like, for me at least, life in general, it feels pretty empty. So, and I think that
Yes.
I talk with many people in New York saying like, oh, I feel really lonely. So, and that make life miserable. So as an extrovert person, as someone that love people, love connection, love relationships, uh, I really think that that is crucial. So when people ask me like, oh, why do you do so many stuff? I always have to say first for me. because I need it. I need that sense of community. I need, like things going on. I need group of people that I see consistently, and I need friends, and I need really deep bonds, right? Bonds. So first of all, I do it so I have a place to be, and in that way, without realizing at the beginning, but now of course notice it, I create a place for a lot of people to be as well. So I still
Yeah.
remember when I was talking with this first with this partner that I mentioned that I had before when I opened the school. Uh, I remember when I was saying like, oh, can you imagine when I go to class and I have certain students, and after the class we can go and have a dinner after the class. That made me excited, right? I was super excited to get to that point that my students, right, will become kind of like a community, kind of like a group of friends that we can hang out
Oh.
after the class, right? So I was looking, I was searching for it, and now I am tired. Like now, now, now we go out to eat. Now we go out to eat. Like I am getting so fat, we are gonna eat like 4 or 5 times per day. Then we do picnic. Then we go hiking. We burn some calories. We reach out the top. We go to eat again in the top of the mountain and dancing. So yeah, now I'm just kidding, right? I'm not tired, but yeah, now we do it so often. Like almost every class we go to eat, and there is a lot of people. We have problems most of the time to find a restaurant because we are like 15, 20 people after a social going to a place to eat, like with the restaurants in New York are like this. 20 people is half of the space that they have. So we find it difficult to find places to go to eat after the social, to after the dinner for the amount of people that we are now. So yeah, now it's kind of like such a common thing and part of the school. But that's how it started, right? Kind of like from a need that I had of it. Yeah, and it became a big signature of the school. One of the students was actually the one that created more than a dance school. If you see our website or some of or branding, right, like the wristband or all the stuff, it has Salsa School, more than a dance school. And that was said by one of the students. We were having a dinner in the 6 month anniversary of the school, and they give me a teddy bear, with a T-shirt of Salsa Sabrosa, and he was like, "Wow, this is just so amazing. This is Salsa Sabrosa is just more than a dance school." And I was like, "I love that. I'm gonna just take it because that's so." And I believe it is true. It is true. We are more than a dance school.
It is definitely true.
I am planning. I have to rush a little bit in today or tomorrow. That I have to create the event. So the 3rd of December we go to do snowboarding, skiing. So that will be the next activity. If not that week, the next week probably.
Yeah, no, I feel like thanks for sharing that. I feel like that is such an important reason for you to create that social kind of bond of people. It's exactly like you said. There's so many people in New York that do feel alone because, whatever the reasons are. And it is literally like life changing to have a community, to have people that you can chat with, to have to go to dance class with, to go to a picnic with, to go to dinner with. It literally does change their environment. It changes their life. They feel better. They feel connected. And I feel like it kind of grows and grows and grows into bigger and bigger community because then start to invite other people to join and things like that. So I feel like it's very important what you are creating, and we're so thankful you're doing that because
Yeah, you're welcome.
it is super important,
I
super
have to say, I
important.
I have to say that luckily I receive one every other day, which for me at least that's pretty often. A message or a comment from someone saying something like, "Oh, that changed my life." "Oh, New York City, thanks to your school, it's just like another experience." "Oh, I was not in a good place, and now I feel so well with myself. I feel surrounded by so many people." Or like um, being in your school with the highlights of the 2 years being in New York City and stuff like that, that's really impactful. Oh, your school answering something that I say, no, your school didn't give me just this, your school give me this and this and this and that. So I don't know, honestly, if that happened in other school as well. I cannot speak for other stuff, or if that happened usually to other people. But I am really grateful and I am really lucky that I pretty often find messages like today I have one, yesterday I have another one that was like your school give me like too much. The less that I can do is this. So yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, because I feel like aside from creating that amazing community that literally does change people's lives, I feel like another thing that you are doing is the people that are in the community are from all over the world. You
Yeah.
have people from Dubai, you have Brazil, you have Argentina, you have Germany, you have Russia, you have literally the entire world connecting, which is so unusual. I feel like that's unusual because a lot
Well,
of cultures stay with their culture and they don't want to know.
but actually, I think that I cannot attribute that. I cannot give that to myself. I think just the fact of being in New York City and surrounding of so many cultures create that the possibility of doing that, right? I don't know if I can say that proper of Salsa Sabrosa.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I feel like
yeah,
because we all have dance in common, it kind of helps a little bit to have
yeah,
that connection through dance. And then you're kind of more kind of inclined to welcome other people. So I love it. I love that it's such a diverse group.
yeah, definitely.
Maybe it is New York City, but it's amazing. Hold on, I have another question.
Go for it.
So, I would say because you're so into personal development and things like that, what
Uh-huh.
is some of your favorite, I guess, advice that you live by or quotes of life that you live by that is like your favorite?
I have to think that there is so many.
I know. Well, what is like something that helped you in your life?
Well, I think this is some kind of like recurrent, and I heard some phrases, right? Sometimes I feel really between the line of being pretty stupid and a genius. I really feel that in the way that I achieved things that for me was like, I'm gonna do this, right? And I think I don't know if it was in a genius way or just being naive and stupid that I thought that I could be able to do it. But then it happened, and I just thought about it. And I don't know, a lot of time I find myself in that circumstances of being like thinking something or going for something that I think I don't know if I am being just stupid and naive or I am just a genius, right? So I don't know, like the main thing that I will say it guides me. It's just that I do whatever I want. It's just even though that I have like, oh, I don't know if this is stupid, I don't know if I am being naive, I don't know if this is just me being genius, or I don't know if this is something that is gonna come out the best. And sometimes I do stuff that I am like, oh, maybe there is something better. But I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. Like I like it in this way, right? I am pretty uh, loyal to the things that I want. But then I would say for my life experience, right, beside of the business side, I find that the problem with a lot of people is that they don't know what the fuck they want. A lot of times I'm kind of like having this kind of conversation and I find kind of like that the person is like, I don't know what I want, right? So how can I just do what I want if I don't know what it is? So, and I have no idea, honestly, because in some way, I always did what I wanted. Like, I always did what I wanted since I was like, I don't know, 17, 18, right? I decided to go to study diseño en comunicación visual, which is kind of like graphic design. Then in some point, I saw that in my country wouldn't have any point to do it, and I quit it. Um, and I did it. And then I decided kind of like to go more for the entrepreneur path, right? Try to find a job and make some money, and then try to open a business, and stuff like that. So I kind of like always, since young, I did the things that I felt not right, but I felt that was for me. And I didn't plan much in the way like when I was doing sales, that was like the thing that I did in the most of the time in Argentina. I always thought that the company that I was, it would be the company of my life in the way that I was giving my best. I wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna be 2 years here
Right.
and I'm gonna find something better. I was like, no, I'm gonna be the number one of this company, the bestseller, and then I don't know. I heard, I found someone called me from another company, and I was okay. This seemed better. And then I get into, and I was okay. This is gonna be it, and this is gonna be what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna be the best. And then I don't know. I got tired, and I was okay. I don't want to do it anymore. Fuck it. Uh, so I decided to look for another stuff, and one company no, the other company no, and I was okay. This seems good. I want to do that, and I went for it, right? So I always just follow it whatever I wanted, but I don't think that that's the most common mindset of people
But
in the
it's
way that
very
they,
important. It's very important. And for you to be having that ability to go for what you want and do what you want, that's very rare. But I think people should be able to do that. But a lot of people, I feel like they have a lot of worries, they have a lot of doubts, they have a lot of insecurities. So, as much as they would like to, there's a lot of fear that comes into play. So, I feel like you are so, I guess, more on the fearless side. You're more kind of confident and bold.
yes and no, yes and no. We are gonna come back a little bit to the beginning of the conversation. You're saying that I am fearless and kind of like go for what I want, and no, I can kind of like explain it in this way. Like I like roller coaster and high places and everything, right? But I always say like there is two kind of people that like those stuff. The ones that go and they don't feel anything. They are like there, right there in a roller coaster, and they are like, yeah, this is so easy, right? And there is people like me that I panic, I suffer while I do it, right? But I do it anyway.
You do it
So
anyway.
this is the same thing in life. Like it is not that I am fearless. It's just I
Ah,
know that I'm gonna be afraid.
but you
I
go for it anyway.
I just take it. Yeah, I just take it. I know that I'm gonna suffer. It's just as I mentioned before, it's gonna happen. You're gonna get disappointed. You're gonna suffer. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna cry. You're gonna be happy. Cool things are gonna come. Bad things are gonna come. Doing whatever you want. That's kind of like life. Nothing is gonna change that. No one lives a life entirely good, entirely bad. If you are a millionaire, you lost so many values usually because you didn't know how to appreciate the achievement of some stuff, right? If you have the money coming from someone. So even when you have the best stuff, there is one downside. If you were the poorest people, maybe you knew how to appreciate better stuff, right? That's kind of like a taboo, a stereotype. But I think it reflects something real. Like all good things have something bad, and all bad things have something good. Good. So
That
this
is
is
such an amazing explanation. I love it so much because that's exactly true. But I never thought of it like that. Like it never even crossed my mind to think of it that way. But that's such a helpful way to look at it because it's true. Things
yeah,
are gonna go wrong.
yeah. Things are gonna go wrong. That's what I mean. Like it's just not that I am like, oh, what if I open my business and it goes wrong? I know that gonna go wrong in some way. It's gonna go wrong, you know. So yeah, it's just that. That's
That's an amazing, amazing tip. I love it so
yeah.
much. I
It
love
is
it.
not that I am not afraid. I know that I will be afraid. I just keep going even with it.
So would you say that's why you're able to do what you want because you are taking the risk? It doesn't matter if it works or if it doesn't, if you fail or if people laugh at you, it doesn't matter what happens. You just want to try to do what you want with
Y-
anything in life.
yes, but and I think it's super important to clarify that. Yeah, I don't give a shit if people. Sorry, I do it even though if people will think bad of me. I do it even though I'm gonna fail, whatever. But if it happen, it affects me, right? Because also I don't want to create the idea of like, oh, yeah, I don't care what people say. No, I really care what people say. I really care what people think. There is a big part of the school that grow for my dreams, from good positive stuff, but there is a big part of the school that grow thanks to a lot of people be shitty with me. So that affect me, and there is people that they don't feel affected and they just get over it. And I was like, no, fuck it, I'm gonna show them that I am good, better, right? And it made me anger and it made me sad and it made me cry and whatever, but I was like, okay, like I tried to use it in a good way, and I was like, I don't know how to say what I want to say in English. There is a phrase in Spanish, but it's kind of like I'm gonna show them basically. Uh,
Oh, I see, I see, I see, I see, I see, I see. I
so there is-
understand. I understand what you mean.
I do it even though when I know that bad things are gonna come, but then if those bad things come, they affect me as everyone, right? Like they just affect you, and then you just keep going because you know that bad things are gonna come, and then you know that good things are gonna come. It's just like that.
How do you handle it? Let's say you're feeling bad. How do you get over that? How do you decide to just keep
I don't,
going and not
I
get
don't,
stuck?
I don't. But that's I don't know. Like I just take it like that. I cannot avoid, and I have been trying to avoid it a little bit to reference to my parents because also I don't want to give the message like you only in order to have this attitude you need to have good parents thing that I don't want to say, but I have like yeah I just can't avoid to say like my parents helped me a lot in the way like when I wanted to make the decisions they were like always like we support you whatever the fuck you want like we are gonna
Oh,
be here for you. That was super important. And the second
wow.
important thing, what did you just ask me?
Oh, how do you keep going even though you feel bad? How do you keep going?
Thanks to my mom, because she usually was like, when you cry, tears, just take the pain away. When you feel sad, just let it be, and then sooner or later it's gonna go away. And just the mindset of feeling sad and being like, okay, this is gonna go away. It just takes so much weight out of it, right? Because if you feel sad and then you feel shitty for feeling sad, or if you feel sad and then it makes you sad to be sad in the way like, oh, why I sad? Like I don't want to be sad. I don't like to be sad. I want this to be over. I want this to just finish, and it just go to the next chapter and everything. That make you feel sad and anxious, right? Like you just don't want it and makes you more worrying, whatever. But if you feel sad and you're like, well, fuck it, today is the sad day, but tomorrow is gonna be another day, and let's see what happens tomorrow. It doesn't affect you much because you know that maybe tomorrow you just wake up and it doesn't hurt you anymore, and that's it. And maybe the next day
Uh,
it hurts you again, and then that's it. And also, there is the positive side, but there is also the sad side. My dad passed away 5 years ago,
oh, sorry to
which,
hear.
yeah, I'm sorry too. And he was like extremely important in my life. And a lot of times when I go through difficult stuff here, of course I feel sad and I feel shitty and I cry and like everyone, right?
Yeah.
But then I go always to the thought like I lost one of the most important person in my life and I'm still alive and I am having a school and I create all this project he never knew and I have so many cool stuff even after it. So I don't know if I break up with a relationship, if I don't get one offer, like I don't know, a company reach out to me and they want to pay me $1,000 for 1 hour and I don't get it, or a friend of mine betray me in some way that I think, then I'm like, come on, my dad passed away and I'm still here, like nothing worse can happen except
That's
if it is my mom.
so true that you said it because I feel the same way. I think I mentioned to you, my mom passed away as well in 2014, like 7, 8 years ago. And I feel the same way. And now that you go through like my mom passing away or your dad passing away and you
No, my
make
mom
it
didn't.
through
My mom.
that,
Oh yeah, your mom. No,
my
my mom
mom
didn't
passed
pass. No,
away.
yeah,
Yeah, my mom passed away.
yeah,
So, but once you make it through that, everything else literally feels like,
like nothing.
yeah, once you make it through that, and then I also feel like she's not here, right? Your dad is not here, my mom is not here, but I am, you are. And I feel like a responsibility to make the most of me being here because I feel like it's such a privilege because not everybody is here, right? My mom is not here, but I am. So
Yeah.
I feel
No,
like
I do not feel like that. Like I just do what I want. As I mentioned, it's not that I. That's another important thing that a lot of time I hear in a lot of like self-developed stuff and whatever like that. It's like bring the best out of you. No, I don't know if I am like that because what is the best? In order to qualify the best, you have to qualify the worst. And we are all good and bad. Like there is a lot of shitty stuff in all of ourselves. So I don't know. I just do what I want without hurting people, at least consciously, unless they hurt me. and then, and then that case, fuck it. But,
oh
and then,
shit. People
but
don't
like,
hurt him.
but, yeah, the best thing that you can do is try to hurt me in my business side. That's gonna make me grow it so mad, so badly because I will be like, oh yeah, you want to make me fail? Let's see what's happening, right? So you see,
That's true.
like,
That's what happens. You work harder and you want to prove
yeah,
them
like
wrong,
yeah,
and
like
you go.
let me show you. Yeah, so the best thing that someone can do is just provoke me. Like tell me, we'll see what happens. So yeah, you see, like everyone has something good, something bad. So I don't know. Doing my best or being productive is something that break my brain. It's just something that I cannot deal with. Like when I hear phrases like "I have to do my best," I I need to do something bigger than myself. I need to be productive. It, I don't know. Just do what you feel like, whatever it is, and that's cool. As long as you don't hurt anyone, that's perfectly fine.
That's so true. Yeah, as long as you're not harming anybody else, if you're not hurting anybody else, do what you want to do. And then don't worry about like whatever
Yeah, whatever
people
it is, the
say.
best or whatever. Yeah, and all of us came to do something big. And all of us came to do something like that. I don't know. I always keep. I tried, for example, with the school. My example, right? I try to do the school something big. But if something happened tomorrow, right, that it make it not happen and literally impossible to move forward with it, I will be like, well, I did something cool and now it's gone. Like now, what I want to do now, what I can do now that I want.
Ah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. So every step you go for what you want, you'll go for what you want. But if, God forbid, something happens, you're like, okay, you appreciate the good. I had a fun time.
Yeah, now next thing. Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean when I said like everything that I do, I did it kind of like this is the thing. Now I am in the school and I am planning right a lot of stuff, not that long, but I am kind of I want to do a lot of stuff and I want the school to grow and I picture myself right kind of like having the school and many teachers and opening a school here in Miami as well and everything. But if something happens, it's not that I will be like my dream. No, I don't want to do. I'm gonna jump out of a plane, like I don't know, like it's just like okay, it failed, it didn't work. Shit, what can I do next? Like okay, let's what I wanna do now. I don't know. I like archery. Maybe I started to compete doing archery. Like okay, next thing. That's it.
Oh my God. But it's so funny that you just mentioned about Miami because I think I told you I was there also in September. And the
Yeah,
one thing that I was like, oh my God, they don't have the same salsa classes here that we have in New York. I was like, and now you're mentioning that you might consider that. I was like, you should consider doing that because it's missing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, but I understand what you were saying about kind of doing what you want and you don't have to worry about being the best at it. You don't have to worry about it being perfect or, give you everything. You just go for this is what I like, this is what I enjoy, this is what I want right now, so I just do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
being a little bit conscious, right? Not totally reckless. Like, oh, what I want. Oh, I want just to chill all day. I chill all day. No, sometimes you have to do something in order to create something bigger, right? But in general, yeah, it's just like you do what make you
but
feel
but
good.
what makes you
You
kind
know.
of motivated to create more and expand and like keep going with the Salsa Sabrosa School, for example? Like there's nobody in your ear telling you, Renzo, you have to build a website. Renzo, you have to get more classes.
Uh,
Like what
that
keeps you motivated? What keeps you want
that
to do more?
that's the worst part of having your own business, right? It's just like you don't have anyone telling you anything, which is cool. The best part and the worst part because then you have to do everything because you have to do it, and put yourself there. And there is a lot of stuff that you don't like to do, so it's like, oh, you don't feel like that day, and you're like, let's do it, right? But that's an amazing question. The only thing you have to give me 1 minute to think. What?
Okay, okay.
Repeat it again.
So, what makes you stay motivated and what gives you the inspiration to create more and think of new ideas and keep doing more and more? Because technically, you don't have to, like it's kind of like a choice you're making. What makes you want to take the next step and take the next step and create more?
I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but because I can, just that. You ask me what
Yeah.
motivates me to keep having more ideas and growing and everything.
Yeah, because you can. That's true. That's true. Why not? Right? Your like
And
kind of mentality is why not?
yeah, I am not thinking, yeah, but I am thinking not right now, right? Because I have been 2 years in the school since I started and it keeps growing.
Yeah,
And
because you're constantly creating something new. You're constantly creating some new
yeah,
experience for us. I was like, where does that come from? Because some people are just like, okay, I'm just gonna do the same thing again and again and
well, well,
again.
well, well, there is two things. One side, that part that you say like I'm always creating something new, and the other side is what inspired me, right? For the ones that what make me create something new, that's something easy to answer, which is like I talk with a lot of people and I listen a lot. We are always speaking about me, but also like a lot of students and now teachers they give a lot to the school and not in money or not even timing in the way like I don't know like go to sit down, but a lot of people have a small talk with me or like some students that they become closer, like sometimes we go in these group dinners or stuff like that, and maybe we are walking and we just stay apart kind of like in an organic, natural way, right? Like to talking and creating kind of like a mini temporal one-on-one talk, and they're like, oh, like it's so fun, the school, I love it. Uh, you know what you can do? Maybe you can do, I don't know, like I cannot remember any of the talk right now, right? But you can do a trip to the Vermonten, right? And I was, oh, that's a cool idea, and then I do it. I listen people. I care about what the students think, what the teachers want. There is one student that gave me an amazing advice 2 days ago about the team that I am managing right now. We were in a dinner and she mentioned like, oh, like with the team, this and this and that. And I was like, you know what? I am horrible at it. You are so good. You just said it so perfectly, and I am horrible at it. And she was like, well, she was one of the person that told me like, um, your school gave so much to my life, like your school did this and that and this and that and that. The least that I can do is this, to give you this advice, because I told her like next time that I need to send something like that, I will send it to you. And she was like, please do it because your school brought so much to my life that that's the least thing that I can do for you. So I listen a lot of feedback and I try to take people help. I think that took me a lot of work, but now it's kind of like,
Really?
okay,
Wait, how did
yeah.
you get to that? Because that is a difficult thing to do.
Oh yeah, before I never wanted to take anything. I don't know, no one. I never wanted it. Yeah.
How
Uh,
did you get
well,
to
realizing, I
allowing?
mean, this will should be a huge conversation, but
Okay,
try
okay,
to make it super short, right? Like my
okay.
dad, in the love that my dad have, they overprotect us a lot, so he always help us in everything, creating kind of like a little bit of dependency. Before he died, like before he died, I realized that, and I started to cut that pattern. And unconsciously, I create a trauma, a pattern in my head that someone helping me means making me useless. So over the time, in that moment, it was like, as I said, like huge. Um, it's a huge conversation, right? But making the story short, then with my dad, we had some tension. Then we came everything good again, in the daily life, right? Normal stuff. And then, but I carry it with it until my 30 something, 31. I said 1 2 years ago. I am 32 now, almost 33, and I carry with it until the point that I realized, oh, no, I can see where it came from, what I am doing, and why it annoys me so much when someone is like, "Oh, I want to, like do this for you," and I'm like, "No, no, no, like, I can do it by myself." And then I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, that's stupid." And also realizing that people love to help, people like to help. Oh, and now while I am speaking, I am remember reading, um, How to Make Friends and Influencing People, which was the first book that I ever read, in self-develop and, um, by my own will. That helped me a lot because there was one moment that mentioned something, and I read it like 4 times already. And the fourth time that I did it,
What was it?
I
What was it in the book that made you kind of that was
it
special?
mentioned that people like to help. If you allow people to do things, they feel important. So it helped me to be like, okay, I am not an asshole. I don't become dependent if I allow someone to help me out. Like I am doing something good for them because they want to do it. There is one phrase of the book that said that even charity is one of the most selfish acts that a human being has, because it's one of the ones that make you feel more, divine of all. You give charity and you feel like, whoa, I am, like so nice. I am so good people. So
Oh,
it's so,
charity.
no,
Oh,
charity.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
So it make you feel so,
You feel
so
good about
proud, right?
yourself. Yeah,
About
you feel
yourself.
like
So yeah, basically, like even when we give, it's kind of like for a
you
selfish
feel good about
instinct. You feel
yourself.
good about yourself. So it's like, okay, when people want to give me, I see that that's a good thing. When people want to give me, they feel good. So okay, that's fine. And also I realized, because those inconvenience that I had with my dad, is because of course he felt rejected by his son and not wanting his help. And yeah, if you ask me now, I was so stupid. I should have keep taking his help unconsciously, trying to disattach myself, but trying to keep, because he was happy. We were his life. He was really happy to help us. So I took that away from him, a little bit when I decided to be a little bit more independent. So I don't know. Now I am a little bit more grown, mature, and if I can come back, I could have managed it a little bit better. But yeah, people is happy in general to help us out, and now I am able to take it in certain degree.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
yeah, and you appreciate it. That's what I like about you. You always appreciate the help because, like,
yeah,
that's also important. Because sometimes when people don't appreciate, you don't want help anymore.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
No, but that took like conscious work. That took conscious work. That took conscious work to say like, okay, like be grateful and and allow people to help you and whatever. Before I was like, no, I can do everything by myself, but that was stupid.
oh, wow, what a story. Thanks for sharing. I love
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
definitely something that I feel like is a progression that happened with you that now kind of you feel I feel like for because I've seen you over a year now kind of also grow and progress. So I feel like you're more kind of let go a little bit, like you're more kind of open and you're not because in the beginning it is very difficult, it's very stressful, you want to control everything, but now, as you kind of get more and you grow, you literally can't control everything because you're growing so fast.
yeah.
So
That's
you have
something
to
that
let go a little bit. So I feel
but
like
it's
I'm
not that easy.
liking, I like to see that happen with you. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but it's not that easy. It's not that easy. That's just like
It's
not.
not easy, but I think it happens with experience. It kind of happens
Yeah,
because
and in
you,
order to grow, you have to let it go. That especially, I mean, I think that phrase applies in everything in life, but especially in this case, I don't think that I'm ready for that phrase in all my life. But especially in the school, I need to let it walk or be lead in certain fields or sections or classes or whatever by other people in order to grow. Because yeah, I cannot. I can reach just to here, right? I need other people to expand. I just cannot reach. So yeah, just let it
yeah, but
go.
I think you are going in that direction. I feel like you are
Yeah, yeah,
letting
yeah.
go a
No,
little bit more. You're
yeah,
kind of letting go a little bit more. You're
yeah.
you're
But
you're
again,
progressing.
it is a challenge. It is a challenge. It is something that consciously I have to be working on it. It's not something natural that at least I can do. It's something that I have to consciously work on. But I'm like,
Okay.
everything is gonna be fine. Nothing is gonna explode if you are not there. Like, but I kind of have to consciously be like
Yeah,
that.
no, that's understandable. It's okay. It doesn't have to be like,
Yeah.
so simple. So, what advice would you give to your younger self? Let's say you a few years ago. What would you say to yourself?
That's such a good question. Uh,
Take your time.
I don't know. Depending on how old I was.
Pick a year. How about
So
when you were just coming here?
just coming here, I don't know. I wouldn't change anything. Of
You
course,
wouldn't
there was.
change anything.
I don't know. There was moment. Yeah, and I wouldn't say anything. I would just let everything goes as it goes. Because good or bad, I am where I am, and I am happy. And this is a phrase that I said in many moments of my life. I am I am where I am, and I am happy right now. So
Ah,
whatever I have been through, it took me to here. So I wouldn't change anything because right now I am pretty happy. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I
I'm the same. I wouldn't change anything. I will take the journey. High, low, up, down, doesn't matter.
because it took me here. So I wouldn't take the risk of see what happened if I change something. I just super happy. So I wouldn't change anything, even though there
I
was a
love
lot
it.
of shit. So
Yeah, I'm the same. I am exactly the same. I wouldn't change a thing. I don't care. I feel like you learn at the right time and you learn the lessons at the right pace. And I feel like everything happens at the right time and the right
just
reason.
I would say just to make it a little bit more soft, I will come back and tell me almost in a lot of moments of my life will be like you will believe in yourself.
You will
Like
believe in yourself?
you will believe in yourself. Yeah. Because I think that I have in many years when I was younger, I was still younger, but when I was younger, uh, I think a lot of times I wanted to believe in me more than actually what I believed in me. Yeah, I think that's, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, that's
I wanted
definitely
to believe
common. A
in
lot of
me.
people don't believe in themselves, and that's one of the biggest issues people have.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't
yeah. But
feel like it.
what I mean is, I I wanted not in the way like, oh, I suck, and I want to believe in myself. It was kind of like more like, no, I can do it, right? But then like, can I? Like, am I sure that
You
I can?
questioning it. You
But
were
then I was like,
questioning it.
no, I can, right? So
Uh,
not going back and being like believing yourself. No, 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 no. Just keeping that intrigue, but kind of like just to make sure that I wouldn't be that effect. I will like some point you will see yourself and you will be like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so take it easy. Just keep that path. You are gonna get there, right?
I
Just
love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense for sure. Yeah, because you don't know in the beginning and it builds up. You build up to it
yeah,
as you go through life.
yeah. Then
You
I
kind
felt
of build up to it.
I felt tempted to go and come back and tell me and give me a lot of advice about romantic relationships because I have a lot of failures. But right now I'm in a happy one and everything is working really well. So
Oh, I'm
again,
so happy.
I come back to like everything is going well now, so don't change anything.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to hear that. Oh, that's amazing.
So
That's amazing. Because it is one of those things where you do have to go through some failed ones before you kind of.
yeah, sometimes a lot, but that
Oh, that's so amazing. That's one of those things that you feel
we'll
like good
see.
about yourself, right? You feel good about
We'll see.
yourself.
We'll see what happens when I see this video again in 10 years. You know, she's right next to me watching the video. And I'm
Wait,
like,
how
hey,
did you guys
it
meet?
was
Now I
good.
want
It
to
was
know. How
good.
did you guys meet? Did you meet in Miami?
No, no, no. She came to one of my events. But
She came
yeah,
to your events in New York?
in New York, in New York, in New York. Yeah.
Oh.
So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
I know. Well, you never know. You never know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. But you're enjoying right now, like you said. You're happy now. You're enjoying now, and you
Uh-huh.
see what happens. Okay, okay. So what would you say? So speaking of believing, some of the people I know, like let's say in my neighborhood, they really want to dance, but they're scared to go to dance class because they feel that they don't know how to dance and they're not built to dance and it's just not something they can do. What would you say to somebody who is like scared to even begin to take a class, but they
Well,
want to?
well, the, I don't know. This is how I am, right? And if you are planning to come to my class, you will have to get used to this humor. There is a lot of times, especially in the most beginner classes, that I show one movement, you know, it's kind of like a little bit complicated, requires some isolation movement or something like that. And I am, guys, I am pretty sure that you all feel awkward, you all feel, you know, like it doesn't look good. So I just want to let you know, that it's not a feeling, it is a reality, you know. And I laugh and he always started to laugh because that's pretty mean, but actually it's true. So if you ask me like, oh, what would you say to someone that is afraid that he's not gonna do good, you know, and he's not gonna do this and whatever like that? Yeah, I just can't but be myself and honest to my philosophy and be like, you are not gonna do good. You are not gonna be the best dancer on the class, but that's what you go for. Like if you don't go, you are just gonna be the one that does not dance well. So you're gonna go. Maybe at the beginning it's gonna be uncomfortable, and maybe you're gonna be nervous, and probably you are not gonna do well. But then you go anyway, and then the next class you go, and then the next class you are good, and then the next class you know the step, and now you feel comfortable. Now you listen to music. Now you are able to dance, and now you don't look horrible. You know, so it's again, it's just what I said like a few minutes ago. Like I don't think that things are gonna go well. I know that things are gonna go wrong, so I do it anyway. So you're not gonna look good. You just do it anyway, and then you look good because you went and you practiced.
I love it. I'm gonna tell that to my neighbors now. I'll be like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
when
tell
he's
them.
like, "No, I don't wanna no go because I'm gonna look bad." You're like, "Yes, yes, you're gonna look bad, but that's why you go, and then you keep going, and then you don't look bad anymore." That's how it